What's poppin', pineapples? It's me, Artemis, and today I'm going to be sharing just something fun to share with you guys. Also, by telling with the sound of my voice, I'm still recovering from getting sick, so that's also annoying. Yeah, just bear with me, guys. So, my story is a little bit different than I'd say most people might experience. I could be totally wrong. Try and get in a nice, comfortable position, get some popcorn, get some snacks, and get a nice blanket, and we're gonna have a fun time telling the story. I don't know, that sounds really weird, but snacks though. Snacks are nice. I like snacks, I think. I like snacks, but snacks don't like me. I think we need to get into the right setting for this story, because it's a little bit scary, just a little bit. Let's think. I think we're looking for something like a spooky mansion or something. There we go. I think this is a lot better. Do you guys like my spooky mansion? Also, don't mind the picture right there. It's just the time I saw a spider and I somehow got it recorded on my phone, and yeah, that's me seeing a spider. I don't really like spiders, those scary little creatures that like crawling all over you. Ugh. Well, except for maybe like Lucas the spider, because Lucas the spider was cute, but like, yeah, no. Get yourselves comfortable, pineapples, because this story is gonna get weird. Just a heads up for you guys, if you get scared easily, this isn't super scary. Things could have gotten really bad if we weren't careful. Most people usually go camping or sailing with their family or just different things like that. With my kind of luck, I feel like I would be the person who would get injured. I feel like if I went camping, I would get eaten by a bear, or I would see something really scary, or I would get lost and be in the middle of nowhere. I might even cause the whole campsite to go on fire. Like, I don't know. For sailing, right? I feel like what would happen would be like the Titanic. And I don't mean it in a romantic way or anything like cheesy romance. I don't mean that. I mean the whole ship going pew. I don't know. Just weird stuff tends to happen sometimes. So this story is a little bit different, and it involves a tree farm of all places, an abandoned tree farm to be exact. A couple years ago, my parents, Patch Tunes, and I went to this area in a different state to look for houses. We ended up finding an abandoned tree farm. Like, there was a house, and then the whole property had like a couple acres of trees. And these trees were massive. They were probably like 20 feet tall and like maybe 4 to 5 feet like thick. It was beautiful. So we decided to get out of the car and go venturing. When personally, I kind of wanted to continue working on my schoolwork because I didn't want to go outside. I know that sounds so bad. Like, most people are like, no, video games, me, school. But yeah, I went outside anyway, so don't worry guys, I touched grass. And as we look around, we notice there's a trail leading down this hill. And going down is where the trees were, where people would pick up Christmas trees, I assume, based on the type of tree. And these trees were beautiful. The air was nice, the weather was great. There was a stream or a creek, and my mom wanted to get a closer look at it. It had recently just rained in the area, so everything was kind of glowy and sparkly and pretty and stuff. It took about maybe like 45 minutes to go down to the bottom. So the thing is, with this tree farm, there was a pathway. So the pathway was super narrow, and on the left and the right side of the path were these huge Christmas trees. So you're going down this tunnel-like pathway. It had just rained, so the ground was really muddy. And it was just very chill and very peaceful until things got a little bit more strange. So it took around maybe like 45 minutes to finally get down, and the water was really nice. So on the other side of this water, there was these high rocks. Like, these rocks were really tall, and they had a bunch of trees and forests, and everything was lush and beautiful. The birds were still chirping. Notice how I said still chirping? We decided to continue down the path with more of the Christmas trees because the trail just kept going. There were several rows that just kind of all like connected to each other. You couldn't go in between the trees because these trees were so perfectly fit together that you couldn't really see in between them. So we decided to continue down the path anyway, after taking a while to get down the hill to see the stream. So we're like, you know what, let's go ahead, we're already here, why don't we just continue down the path? So we continue. For me, what I noticed was like 15 minutes on, as we're walking, things started to get more quiet, and I noticed that the birds had stopped making noises. Honestly, I thought it was kind of a little bit eerie. Things were just slowly slowly building up to some weird things kind of happening. The paths of these trees kept getting more narrower and narrower as we continued. Not like to the point where you couldn't squeeze in and walk through. It was just getting kind of claustrophobic. The birds were gone, the light is starting to change, things were weird. And then that's where we saw it. We ended up seeing this huge deer carcass just killed. Like it was killed within like maybe 5 minutes from when we were walking. And the weird thing was, it's not like the animal was gorging itself and eating the deer. The deer had like a wound and the animal had like left or disappeared. We had ended up seeing along this 20-minute little walk from this stream, we ended up seeing footprints of bear and mountain lion more than likely. It would have been really bad if we bumped into these animals. They could be in between these trees and they could probably hurt us or kill us. And I know that sounds graphic, but if you're almost like maybe 2 miles from your car on a steep hill where the dirt is just pure mud, it was kind of like 8 to 6 inches deep of mud, I think you would start being really concerned. Because once the birds are gone, you know something's wrong. And if you're hearing dead silence, which is what I heard, if you don't hear anything and everything is dead quiet, there is something severely wrong. This huge deer was maybe like 5 or 6 feet. It was big. Like, I've never seen a deer that huge. Like, it was thick. And whatever killed it was probably just as big or bigger. So my family and I decided to hurry our way back to the car, which had taken like a little bit over maybe an hour at that point. So we have to make our way up this kind of steep slope where it's muddy, and this animal, whatever it was, could come along and just be able to block us. If I were, hypothetically speaking, if I was an animal like a lion or a bear and I was hungry, in my brain I'm thinking an animal would never leave something it just killed without being really close by. If that thing was still there, it could come towards where we are. Like, let's say this hand here is where we were. The lion's here, he's like, roar, I'm gonna eat you. And then he's like, chomp. If the other animal, I don't know, could be a bear, was on the other side of where we were and making its way towards us, we would be captured on both ends. That's just kind of how I thought about it. We didn't know where these animals were, and we couldn't see anything because these trees, like I said, are like 4 to 5 feet wide. You can't see or go in between these Christmas trees. It was just really scary because you wouldn't know, and there was nothing nearby that we could use to protect ourselves with. So we thought it was a really good idea to turn around. Making it back up that slope was kind of a pain. It took us a while, and honestly, I was terrified. But as we finally made our way back to the car in a hurry, we pulled out and we left. When we were in the car, I had looked to make sure that we weren't being followed closely by this animal, whatever it was, or if it went back into the forest. When we saw the water, there was like this rock. So the mountain had this huge bunch of trees, and I had looked just in case to see if there was an animal, and I did see an animal. So it looked like a grayish kind of beige color animal. So my guess was a mountain lion. I was really glad we got in the car, because if something bad happens, I'm pretty sure we could outrun it with the car. To see that there was a mountain lion nearby near that area was kind of unsettling. But as for the bear, I have no idea, but it was fresh. Like the prints were very fresh because it had just rained. Honestly, it was just a really weird experience, and I'm glad no one got hurt. I could be over exaggerating a little bit when I say like we could have gotten hurt at any time, but honestly, in that sort of situation, you don't know. Have you guys ever experienced this sort of thing, or is it just me? Because it could be just me for all I know. If you guys have experienced anything like this, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I'm gonna change it back to my lovely beach house. There we go. Anyways, hopefully this story was not scary for you guys, because I don't want to scare my little pineapples. Like, you guys know, I don't want to scare you guys. I tried my best with the backgrounds to illustrate kind of what happened. The memory is still very, very vivid. I think it's good to know, like, what you can do in these certain situations, or find a way to get out of a bad situation before it happens. You're gonna be fine, guys. Like, you guys are smart. You're my smart little pineapples, so I trust you guys. You guys are gonna be good. Just use good judgment, be aware of your surroundings, see what you and your family or your friends can do to help protect yourselves in certain situations. Hopefully you guys like this story. If you guys want different stories of events that have happened in my life, like going to a medieval dinner show, that was actually really, really cool. I've been horseback riding, and let me just tell you, it is very fun, but my first time horseback riding, was kind of a little bit crazy. There's a time I almost drowned as a kid and I had to push this kid off me. It was crazy, but yes. Or going to a Renaissance fair. My experience with archery where I accidentally hit my dad's car. And yes, you can actually dent a car. And also, Dad, if you're watching, I apologize. It was an accident. I was not trying to hit the car. If you guys are new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see you later, pineapples. Also, if you guys were wondering, we did not get the house with the tree farm. We did not get it. So don't worry.